Get me hyped up, bro. Get me hyped up.
Let's go, Bleach.
Let's go, bro. Hello, and welcome to episode 5 on the Virtual Voices podcast. I'm your host, Bleach Streaks, and today I'm here with Michael, the dude and a dude with a dude on a sick DJ of a dude.
That's me.
That's you, Michael. So we're about to get in this. Hope you guys enjoy this. Let's watch it and understand what Michael's story is about in the VR platform. I'm here with you at this moment. You know, we might be in a cringe metaverse, but you know what? It's the best metaverse that I could say is I've had so many opportunities and so many connections, and here with you, dude. It's always a plan to make something happen like this, especially where we're at, because enjoy it when you can, you know, even when it's cringe. Even when it's cringe. But tell me about yourself, Michael. What about you brings you to where you're at today as your DJ career or getting involved in DJing?
For sure. Yeah, like when I grew up, both my parents were Army. So, my parents split up when I was pretty young. So my dad went to one side of the country, my mom went to the other side of the country. And then combined with just traveling, I've kind of always been using like the internet, gaming, to keep in touch with like all the homies, all the friends and stuff. And I actually used to play Halo too, kind of professionally back in the day when I was in NorCal. And then that just led me to kind of experiencing like ways to connect with people online. That was like kind of the first core personality trait that always drew me to like staying connected with people online. So then from there, playing games and whatnot, tournaments, all that, traveling, going to school. Another thing that connected me with people was always music. Like I was like the kid who anybody in high school or whatever, they would always ask for music from me or I would always be like making CDs for people. And if I had a girlfriend, I was always making a playlist for them or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then when I went to
sick money, you have it right there, bro. That's sick as
Well, I think it's cool, right? Like music is like a way that most people connect to something about themselves. So it's kind of like sharing a piece of yourself or whatever, right? So then that from there, when I was going to college, I started DJing and there's like a group of DJs that were kind of realizing that we were like competing for shows and gigs and stuff.
That's
so then instead of competing, we said, let's all put our resources together. We're all broke college kids and we're all trying to like fight each other for the same gigs. Let's get a storage unit. Let's buy a bunch of equipment together and like let's split up the shows. So we did that and we called it Party Cartel, and it actually ended up being like the cool like party scene at our school. And then that gave me a platform to like bring in DJs and like Cab Slap. A lot of these like back in like 2014, a lot of these like frat DJ guys would come and we'd bring in talent from outside of the university, which never happened. And we were
DJs, let's go, dude.
Yeah, we were just like kids, And I remember like there was this one group called I'm Schmacked that would tour college campuses and like just do crazy shit. And we would just have the time of our lives. So that's
so much fun.
Yeah, it was super fun. That was kind of how I got into DJing, and it was like this realization, right? Like of something that instead of trying to shark out people, let's do it together and like bring a community to the scene. And that's another reason why I love this scene, right? Because it feels the exact same way. There's so many elements of the past that I see in VR chat or even VR in general, like a rebirth, like kind of like a MySpace type of new internet type of feel. And I love that.
That's such a cool story from there. It's really cool how like you can put yourself into a situation of like either college or something in a I guess environment of people that who you think are like your kind of people, and you tended to bring something up which is like, let's make something out of this, and let's bring that to what we brought as a community in your college, and you made it like as a frat. And having that kind of like, I guess, situation where I guess to me it's more of like, that's kind of the nerd of the group that I would have from mine, because I used to be part of the nerd group. I used to go in 3D animation class and just go in there on my lunchtime and start 3D animating because I was just passionate for them. We had a little group of our own and just started going at it, like making theme shit, making some down, like it might not be as crazy as what yours is because I was going through a lot of like creative shit, but I went to that stage of like, oh, and I was on the sports team, so I kind of like have like, you know, homies around me too, but still like what you're driven to what you can create is something that you can group people together to
For sure.
something that is that's like inspiring and also like kind of passionate if you think about it. If you're
I think the core thing, right, or the key thing is community, right? Like whether it's small, whether it's big, like a lot of people, you know, you could argue from like a, you know, psychology standpoint, like this is human nature, this is what we need, and this is what we look for, and family and community is like a pillar of our existence. It's people, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a different like aspect of like, how you say, pre-planning. You're creating a plan to make something happen, and you know, some people are like, oh, it's not gonna work, it's not gonna work out because of stupid reasons and doubtfulness, and you know, we all go through that. But
For
at the
sure.
same time, you got to look at it from this way. Have you tried it? Have you done it? Have you seen like what side of it? Have you talked to other people about it? Have you ever mentioned about just looking it up on the internet and just seeing if anybody else did it? But if you didn't see anything on there, it's your chance to make something out of it. You know, all of us want to be dedicated to creating something, and creating that plan of just like making something out of that is something that's really like inspiring to me, because you have an outlet
Good
that's
point.
bringing you to what you can create from remixes or just standalone bass. Like,
Sure.
for example, I'm Blue. It's one song like 20 years ago that blew up to be a sensational, like basic, like, I don't know if it's basic, but it was so catchy that brought so many remixes out there that you made history.
Sure.
You made a song that blew up that like everyone can relate to and everyone can make it to, and you're like, oh my God, I've made something that's passionate. It's just that feeling.
That's a good analogy.
It's kind of a weird kind of statement, but you know, we all want to make history, you know, but at the same time, what can you do that's different instead of repetitive? And it's really hard.
Sure.
But what you started at was something that like, I went to a frat party, dude, and made some freaking commies, and we just all made it happen, dude. And that's what the community is for, is when you can bring homies together that you really like, or if you don't like, together in one scene. You know, it's kind of a little gig you got going on. It's like a band, but better. It's like a bunch of friends together ready to jam out, and they're always down for it.
Yeah, it's cool, and everyone's kind of just stoked on everyone because you have this common ground. Like when you see these communities, you know, that kind of come up. I've been involved in so many, right? Like I've been involved in communities in gaming, probably more so than anything like this. And you know, like for example, right? Like I'll give you an example. Like when I played Halo, it was super underground. Like the types of tournaments were just warehouses with like, it wasn't until like years and years until we actually had like a real tournaments and MLG and all that.
That is
so I mean
sick.
I can't even to me it's crazy the fact that I would just on a random Wednesday just get on a bike and ride like an hour to some dude's basement and just go there freely, not worried about anything bad happening to me, to play Halo for like 2 days straight. And then their parents come down at the like 10-hour mark of us playing, like who the heck are all these kids in my basement? And do you guys want pizza? You know what I'm saying?
What the fuck? It's oh my god. Yo, those parents must be like, those parents must be really trustworthy with their kids. You know,
I don't know how
dude,
that
sounds
was
so
flying.
sick to me, because it's like, it's so weird thinking about all these dilemmas of like, how you say, the fucking, I don't know, like it's weird to kind of have that mental state of like, oh, stranger danger, have that,
Yeah.
like fucking out of nowhere. I mean, dude, there was,
But it's cool, right? Because like if you think about it, right? Like this is in this, I come back to this thought like so much. I talk about this with like the new internet thought and the MySpace thought is like
bodies.
You have all Dottie. You have these things that you're passionate about, and then it makes you go insane to figure out how to do it. So like, for example, right? Like remember back in the day, like MySpace, like you didn't know how to code. You didn't know how to do HTML. You didn't know how to do CSS, but you saw somebody's profile had sparkles on it. And you were like, I need to learn how that happened.
I love sparkles. Let's fucking go sparkles. Yeah. Fucking sparkles.
Exactly. I need the shiny, right?
I need the shiny stuff.
So then you just figured out how to do it. It's the same thing in gaming. It's the same thing in like, a VR chat. Like, oh, I see somebody has like a cool world or a cool video or whatever. Like, I want to learn how to do that. And I didn't know anything about Blender. I didn't know anything about Unity up until a couple of months ago. I think I've spent more. I think I looked before I got on today. I have like less than 50 hours in VR chat. I probably have over 100 hours of like Blender.
Oh,
and I didn't even know what Blender was until I started doing stuff in VR chat.
We're going by the meme. Sorry to say this, but makes my kid into a blender. Sorry, I'll find the meme. It's so bad. It's stupid. But no, I mean, I feel that, dude. I feel that dedication, and you know what? It's kind of crazy thinking about this, because at one standpoint, and I'm like, man, I was just that one individual kid that was in that room with a bunch of nerds, and just thinking to myself, what am I gonna do in high school, like 16? And I was like, I did photography, I did graphic design, and I was the first kid to ever do like 2 years of Adobe on like graphic design class. That was the first ever Mac we ever got on my senior year of class. And I was like, I started from freshman year of getting into arts and stuff with photography, got into water polo for 4 years, and started getting into 3D animation. I made my first, it's a slow story, but like, I made my first
I'm here for it.
3D printed stuff.
In school?
In school. I made my first.
Oh, that's crazy.
Printed like little keychain, and then I made the Batman/Superman symbol that was ready for the movie, and then I made a Game Boy
ready for the movie.
Yeah, the Batman for Superman thing, and I made it into one logo.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, I made that, and then I also made is a keychain that was the NES gaming, like the
logo,
like the controller, like a little controller keychain thing, and I painted it and everything. I was so dedicated into it, bro.
Did you ever? Okay, I'm gonna throw you off for a second. Did you ever like have those like things that you would put down, and then you would iron them, and then they like turned into like little plastic.
I know what you're talking about. My parents.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. You like it morphs it into like they're
like little circle things, and then you make a design, and then you iron it, and it like sticks together and melts.
Okay.
Dude, I love those things.
Oh man, I'd have to see. I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about. I was thinking about like liquid, like plastic that you could like melt. And
No,
that's all
like arts and crafts.
Oh shit! I probably have to see it. Whoa, there it is. Whoa, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. 100%.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I grew up at daycare. This is hey, was entertained.
Hey, that's what matters. But real quick though about this story, I know. I'm sorry. a little bit about this was when we went to the 3D printing side of things. There was one point in my life where I was living in a, well, of course I still live in it, but like I'm living in my parents' place. This was like 5 years ago, and one day there happened to be that it was my junior year of high school, and let's just say that I went through a stage of a house fire. All of my 3D printed stuff, to my materials, to all of my gadgets and gizmos, I went through a house fire, and unfortunately the dryer has literally caught all the lint, and it basically ruined the whole part of my room. I lost a point in my life where I had lost my Letterman's jacket that I've been trying to get for 3 years. There was that hard time where all the memories that I had with all my 3D printed stuff gone, all my photography stuff.
That's tough.
All my computer stuff. But you know what? I forgot to mention this. I do live on a farm. And there was a time where, when I said I live on a farm, I mean cats, dogs, pigs, goats, parrots, fucking horses, everything, I swear to God. And there was a time in my life where my room's right here. Keep going straight to the right to the bathroom, and then there's a washer and dryer, a little space. And I opened the door for some odd reason to open this door, and I just saw flames lit up. And I don't know why, but just my mentality just opened the door and I just closed it. I see smoke coming in and shit. Got my cats, got my dogs, and I kind of just rushed it to get my pets out as much as I can. I didn't give a fuck about the products. I didn't give a fuck about, those are just materials. I can buy it anytime I want. My pets are what that matters.
Right.
And
you just went, you full like panic mode, just
took over. Fucking took over. I got my cat's dog. I got my 2 parrots on my shoulders. I got my fucking dogs right here. I got my cats like, let's fucking go, bro. We need to go. And my 15-year-old at the time, Chihuahua, was under the birdcage, so I had to go back in with all the smoke, and I felt so much smoke come in, and I was like, oh my God, I better get my fucking dog out. And I got her out, put him outside. One of the dogs don't like each other, and they're pretty big, so I had to like run all the way down to the back, and I have an acre of land, so I had to like pull them, like, get the fuck away,
right,
shovel them in.
So while you're doing this, are your parents like also like,
oh dude, so
are they not there?
No, they're here. When my stepdad was here, and we
Gotcha.
pretty much got him almost all out. He was actually going through a hard time because he had a lot of smoke coming in through his lungs, and I made sure every fucking pet was out of there. Unfortunately, the chameleons were still alive, but they died the next day later. Unfortunately,
because all the smoke, probably.
Like, fortunately, they were living, but they just passed away the next day, and I was like, oh my God. But they lived, and I was like, what the fuck? We have mutated animals? But why I'm saying this is because a lot of us tend to have a passion, to still have that passion to this day. And it's been 8 years since I've been still a photographer to now, because I've met so many other opportunities that led to where I am now. But when the time that fire happened, it was a heartbreaking moment. You know, funny enough, my girlfriend at the time was going to break up with me on that day when my house fire happened.
Dang.
But I'm just saying this from this is just because of you lost some memories in the past about which of, it's about making the time that you can do now to recreate something that's more into what you can accomplish, rather than the mistakes or the shit you've done in the past to bring what you have now, which is you can make something better. And even if it's creativity or maybe something you've made in the past, you can still make better shit. You just got to find the way of how to make that to bring what you used to make to now. And like I said, I don't give a fuck if the products were products. My animals were definitely something that I were really dedicated to. But sorry if it was a long story, but I just wanted to say, like, all my shit from high school is like gone. And that fucking blew. But everyone in my neighborhood were like trying to support me because but one of my teachers actually like gave me my Letterman's jacket, and she got it for me. I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. It cost like $1,000 or $2. And I was like,
Wow.
holy fuck, oh my god. And just it was so helpful. It was so helpful. But like it sucks the memories because I had old Pokemon cards too. Like a Charizard that was
Wow.
worth like
The
almost
Pokemon cards,
Pokemon
dude.
cards, bro. I still have them. I have the container. I have the container
Oh.
still, but it's all like wet and damp. But you know what? Those things are still gonna be legend back in 20 years.
It's cool because Bleach, when you're famous, then everyone's gonna want your
I'm
burnt
not
ass
even gonna be
Pokemon cards.
famous, bro. I'm not even, bro. Just wait. Just VR chat's gonna be the new Pokemon cards. We have Michael as the, one.
Yo, I got a mint condition half burnt Charizard for sale.
Bro, crazy edition, bro. But at the end of the day, all I can say is that we all go through a struggle in life, and we always gotta pick ourselves up. Because if we don't, we're not gonna go. I can say so much about this, and I probably killed a lot of time about that. But at the end of the day, I'm just saying whatever comes to mind, because that's how passionate I was and how I am. Still to this day, I'm still making content, even though I go through a struggle.
For sure.
And I'm pretty sure Michael goes through the same situation he does. It's us as individuals, we all just kind of have one of those days, those bad days.
Everyone has those days.
Yeah. Even though I went through a house fire, I don't think a lot of people will, but I hope not. I hope not. But besides that, so when was there a time in your life where you went through a struggle?
Yeah. Well, I think I've always kind of had this mindset of like being the underdog. Like growing up, having my parents move around a lot, and having like the divorced parent lifestyle or whatever. I was always like moving, so I never really had like the installed friendship of kids at school. So I always had to kind of be I had to integrate into other people's sort of communities, which taught me a lot. And so I
That like got you what you are now. You better.
yeah, well, yeah, for sure. It's it's definitely a part of who I am. But I'd say growing up, that was probably my biggest struggle, is always trying to adapt and try to fit in, but not feel like I was losing who I was.
That's what is sometimes a struggle, is that moment. And I'm sorry to hear that, dude. And anytime, all I can say now is if you've been through a rough situation in your life, I feel like you get stronger as you go, and you'll learn and be like, you'll remember this moment and be like, I can fucking do this.
Yeah, no doubt.
Some people won't experience it because some people are just too scared. And if you think about it, a lot of the people in this game are kind of having the issues where there have been trauma, or there have been a bad side about a lot of them, and coming in this game to kind of condense it and just relax. But for you, you're here to make a move, and you're here to bring the energy that you can take to the DJ scene, and you want to explode all of your magic to like anything you can to brand yourself and like make yourself feel good. And you only been here for like a little while, right?
Yeah, I think like just maybe over a month. Like I said, I had like 50 hours in VR.
You're gonna
Yeah.
give it a year, bro. You're gonna be like, man, I feel so old. I have like
Everything I've heard is pace yourself and have fun and
That's where it's
have a good
at.
time. So I'm 100% on board with that. And I feel blessed to like have so many talented people around me who
so fun.
kind of given me the shortcut to that.
It's so cool just having related friends and just seeing like, oh, it's really sick to be in this community, because this is kind of the first ever ego to like kind of go see like what would it be like for the DJ community. Because I didn't know what it would be like for me to be part of I guess the content creation scene.
Okay.
So like I realized like, wow, there's another side of this game, like more than just content or the memes or stupid people. And it's all fun and games, and you realize like it's so much fun seeing there's another side of this kind of game, is you went to the rave scene and you're having so much fun as you do in the real rave scene, but without spending money, getting talented people that are really good. They're fucking
Yeah,
great, dude.
there's so much talent. There really
So
is.
so much talent everywhere, and you meet these new individuals, and I've never realized I've never met these people and these individuals I've ever meet if I wasn't in this game.
For sure.
Like you, dude. Like I've never, if it wasn't for the connections I would have never heard of, I would have never met you, you know, and
Mhm.
never met the connection that we're gonna get this, and we're gonna make you well known in VR chat, and hopefully get you a better time of getting booked into sets. And it's really sick having this small little community into a big opportunity of learning and like getting to know people just like Michael.
100%.
Fucking dope, dude. Yeah, dude, it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited for what's to come. I got some stuff planned, and there's the world is your oyster in here. Everyone comes into this place with a completely different vision for what their VR chat experience is going to be, and some of those people end up being creators, and that's kind of how you get like the coolest maps, the coolest worlds, the coolest communities, the coolest stuff. Everybody has a completely different kind of like eye on how they want to shape what it is. So that's
It's pretty lit.
in and of itself. It's it gives people a platform to kind of just be completely and 100% outwardly expressive.
It's
so
really
dope.
fucking awesome. It's really awesome to see that this is a really cool community. Let's see. What brings you to VR chat with the music that you've made in the past, and what makes you different? If that makes sense. I know it's a hard question because differences are
For
hard to
sure.
create. We all want to make everyone good and collective, but what makes you, I guess makes you different?
Yeah, what am I bringing to the table? I have a pretty extensive I guess DJ background, music production background. I think a lot of that is common ground when I am able to connect with people who are in the same space. And to be honest, I feel like I'm probably most of the time like humbled by that, and in a good way, not in a healthy way. But I think when I was researching VR chat and what other people were doing, I was messaging DJs, and I was talking to people about their setups and how how did you set up your your CDJs and everything. How are you looking at the world and playing at the same time? And that's basically what I feel like I can bring to the table, or what I try to bring to the table is, like when I DJ, I'm 100% in the headset, and I make sure that when I'm DJing, I can interact with people in real time. I can kind of like, if somebody comes up and throws me some love, like I can throw some love back. And I try really, really hard to make sure that I never take off the headset when I'm DJing, and I'm fully kind of integrated into the world. And, I'm showing love back at the, I'm vibing off the crowd, and I'm dancing in my, in behind the decks. And then outside of just like, my music choices, I think that's sort of what sets me apart. At least that's the feedback that I've gotten, like that connection has been felt, and I think that's kind of like what I want to continue to push. But I also think like with new headsets, with new tech, with pass-through becoming more of a feature that is like wanted or being pushed by the industry, I expect that to be more common.
It is.
So I'm excited for that.
I'm really excited. I've had experiences before where I've actually like recorded VR chat videos for like music videos. I've did a lo-fi set with a lot of friends of mine. I actually went to go and record for let's see, I went to VCAT last year and went to go record with some friends. Shout out to shout out to Legendary. We're hooking me up to a set to we're meeting freaking Teriyaki Boys.
Oh shit.
Yeah, for Teriyaki Boys, freaking Legendary himself, and also freaking man, my mind's just right now. Why I can't I know this.
You got it.
Legendary, Teriyaki Boys, and oh, waifu baby.
There it is.
Yeah, waifu. Okay, let me run that back again because I feel like I fucked up. So there was a time where I actually recorded with Teriyaki Boys, waifu baby, and friggin' Legendary, dude. And you know,
Like music videos type stuff.
not music videos, but there was with only Legendary.
Gotcha.
Legendary kind of helped me out with a person named Lethal Lexi, and they're kind of they're a very, oh my god, they're like an acrobat, swear to God. But there was the time where I recorded with them and stuff, and he made a label. I mean, he made a song out of that stuff, and I just did what I could. And he brought me
That's
to
cool.
bigger venues. He brought me to go see Teriyaki Boys and VCAT, and then like we'll go see Waifu Baby and himself to create something that was unimaginable, which is a concert that he went to, and everyone fucking loved his set. I recorded Waifu Baby for her sets, and everyone, I guess, was just like, I guess everyone was unprepared for like getting video recordings because I was the only one recording. And I was like, I got a chance to meet like Waifu Baby, to pretty much be friends with her. And I guess the only thing I got was like with her, she's just super chill, and she liked my fit, and now we're just like really good friends. And I'm like, fuck yeah. And she's a rapper, and I was like,
Yeah.
I know 2 rappers. It's crazy how to kind of see that like opportunities may lead to a
Hell yeah.
one, and that's what may be not just the rave scene community, but the music scene, and that's really sick to see that happens to all of us at one point. But yeah, like it's really interesting to kind of go that route to find like what's in store for all of us as well, and to bring to the table man, by the way, did I get off topic?
Probably. Yeah.
I don't know, because I was like talking and
Bleach. Did I get off topic? I'm gonna say most likely yes.
most likely because it's the my friend joined.
You're good.
But like, you know, to come to conclusion with this, if you were to say about your DJ like or music history, what would you say? Where did you start, and how are you from? Okay, sorry. What's your history about music?
History about music. So creatively, or like, what was my first favorite song, or
how did you start? Who was your inspiration? And finding an outlet from where you found out what your genre of music was, and then from here.
Okay, yeah. I mean, so growing up, I loved all of the sort of like gritty kind of like Depeche Mode, 9 Inch Nails. Like these are the type of stuff that like my dad, The Cure, he's like a huge Cure fan. Which, and they have some like cool like creepy, like they have some like techie weird stuff too. But just kind of like always intrigued by that. And then I don't know, like I guess I've always been, I love the aesthetic of like, you know, anything like Star Wars, sci-fi, Blade Runner, like dark and kind of, you know, when I think of music, I think of like moods. Like whenever all my producer friends are asking me about like, oh, like, you know, I don't know what I should do here. I'm like, when you close your eyes and you hear what you have so far, where are you? And just try to make whatever the vibe is, like whatever room you feel like you're in, or whatever city you feel like you're in, or whatever desert you feel like you're in, make music that sounds like that's where that belongs, you know? And that's kind of
connection to the music.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. So that kind of darkness and just like clubby vibe has always, just from a young age, like movies like Blade Runner, like I said, remember that scene in Blade where they're like in the basement and you have like I think it's like voodoo people, some old rave music. I was just connected to that stuff. So then naturally when I went to school and I started, meeting some of these producers, at first it was just like the bootleg, like EDM mixed with like a classic song.
Yeah.
And I would put that together and people lost their shit, like that was the thing that got all the crowd going crazy. So I try to
So cool.
incorporate that into my sets now. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I love VR chat is it's a mix. It's just, you'll never just get someone who is throwing together something you've seen before. It's always something that's different. Yeah. It's really
something
cool.
different. And that's fucking awesome, dude. And so what brought you to VR chat?
Yeah, VR chat. So what brought me into VR chat or VR in general was actually sim racing, because I'm like really into karting, and I've always been kind of like just in love with that. So I don't have the money to get into motorsport properly. And during COVID, one of my streamers who I think is quite frequent in VR, I won't mention their name just in case they don't want to be mentioned, but yeah, they basically got a sim rig, and I was like, you can do that. And I saw all the setup, and then I started doing research and realized it's actually way cheaper to get your sim and then get a VR headset instead of the triple screens.
Yeah. The only person I know is, shout out to him, and I don't know if he'll like this, but Swampy Nutsack is his name.
Sick.
He has a whole rig set up like that, and he has like the whole like,
yeah,
it's like Supersonic the Hedgehog head deal. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, man.
This PC setup.
Yeah, it's wild. So I got into like the sim racing, and that is why I got a headset and everything. And then I think I just saw one of those, like I think it was like Thrill Seeker or somebody on YouTube like made a video about VR raves, and I was just I was hooked.
Go on. Sorry.
I wonder if I saw who.
I wonder if you saw, like, I don't know. I hope Thrill Seeker doesn't see me in this. I mean, in the video, but I wonder if you saw. Because I was in there twice in the video, and I wonder if you
probably
like. What if you saw this cat?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I saw it.
Like a little small, like a little inch of it. It was either a shelter or slushies of it.
Yeah.
So it's funny because
I always feel bad when people ask me if I recognize like people from VR, because I'm so new that I just like I don't like, everyone thinks that I've been in VR for a lot longer than I have. I'm like, sorry, I don't really know everyone yet.
Sorry. If I don't remember you, like it's but like I said, the connection's what makes it matter and stuff. Not so you remember, like, holy shit. But like, I've gotten DMs before like that before, and I'm like, cool, I'm in the video. I it's funny. The first time someone said that to me, I'm like, I had like 10 DMs like, bro, you're in this video. You're in Thrill Seeker's video, and I'm like, I know.
Nice.
It's like,
I just remember seeing that video, and I remember seeing like a couple of my like people who I think are like underground, underrated influencers of the community, Going Quantum back in the day, the Going Quantum podcast, and I followed his podcast so hard, and he brought like so much UK music into my ears, and some very frequent VR chat people like Muzz and a bunch of other like people who have like a stamp on the music industry and brought that into VR chat. I just think that's so cool.
So fucking cool to hear that and see that, because like, I
was kind of like, I guess the best way to put it is like, I was skeptical, but then I kept getting validated by these people who I had so much respect for, coming into the scene, talking about the scene, or even like, performing and investing in like getting an avatar and doing a set. And I inspire any DJ who is, I think I saw like Calvin Harris said he's going to do some kind of VR experience. Like, that's great. Like, I think a lot of people will be impressed by, what can be done in VR chat specifically, VR specifically with DJing and music production, everything from the world. and how custom you can do lighting and expansive world building, you know, everything from that to different mixing styles to, you know, all kinds of stuff. This is a whole new vibe,
crazy.
a whole new world.
There's so many things that lead to that. And, you know, like, I never thought I'd ever hit that point where I'd ever meet, like, fucking Virtual Riot in VR. Like, huh?
Yeah.
Like, coming from, like, he went to Shelter.
That's a great example.
It's such a trip, because I was like, bro, I've listened to fucking Virtual Riot since high school. And
and shout out to Virtual Riot. He's always been giving back to the community, you know? Like, Virtual Riot is how I learned how to do, like, 75% of my production, watching his
shout out to Virtual Riot, dude.
There's so many examples of that, you know? In VR chat.
Collabed with fucking Neophoric and Shelter, and that's such a sick thing, because when you think about Shelter, I'm sorry, if really quick, there's this little thing about Shelter. I'm gonna say this is any of y'all non-VR chat players. Shelter is a venue that's pretty much like, I'd say, a clothing brand, and also a, I guess, virtual reality rave scene. And what's cool is that Neophoric is collabed with Shelter to bring in all these, like, clothings and very cybernetic stuff. And I saw, like, Virtual Riot have his own hand on the robotic hand.
I saw that, yeah.
And I was like, and what's sick is that Neophoric, by the way, guys, Neophoric also has a VR chat shirt. And I was like, dude, what? That's gonna be that. I'm gonna get one. I can't wait. I'm gonna get one.
For sure. Yeah, you love to see it. You love to see it.
It's such a sick venue. But from this, dude, all I could say is, with any kind of DJ, with any kind of persona of how we see ourselves in this VR chat, in this platform, this social platform, we all don't realize that there's more to this than just gaming. There's also a community of people that are here to invest themselves into something that they've never experienced ever in their life. And, you know, I'm kind of fucking happy to see that, like, every time I'm in this game, bro, I always realize, what can I do to make myself feel better? What can I do to make myself feel like I'm part of this community?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, every time I join a instance of my friends, we're all popping off on the same music. We're all chilling, hanging out, drinking a beer, like people are fucking on some acid and shit. And we're all just here enjoying ourselves and giving ourselves, like, we're gonna be here, like, in the metaverse, in this metaverse kind of VR game, and just enjoy ourselves with all of us in our community, in the DJ community, and also in the virtual reality of VR chat.
Yeah.
You know, much support and much love for everyone that is here to this day, all the homies that are here. I fucking love y'all, because every step that I've been on this game, it's always been another milestone that I'm meeting so many people, and I've had so many connections. And, you know, meeting Michael is definitely another opportunity that you should go take and maybe talk to him about what his experience was. And, you know, having this talk show with him too as well, bringing him on the show is fucking amazing. You know, just take a chance to talk to him and just be like, dude, I just want to say, like, whatever the question is to you, this is probably going to be the last question, but what do you think is anybody that's joining into VR chat, what would you say they should first get into? Like,
that's a hard question for me.
That's a hard question. Well, if you guys want to know about that question, go into the link in bio, go to the Patreon, and go continue to watch the show. It's such a bad cap, because it's like, oh man, this, you know, no, I'm just kidding. But
No, you're good.
yeah, but like, what would you say that for all the newbies that are coming to this game, even if not as a DJ, but if they wanted to get into music, what would you say?
Into music.
Into music.
In VR.
In VR.
Man, I would say go on to Twitter and find, like, use VR hashtags, VR DJ hashtags.
Yeah.
Find artists that you vibe with and that you want to get to know, even if they feel bigger than life. and Untouchable, somebody like Virtual Riot or Going Quantum or whatever, you know, Muzz, some of these big names.
Muzz.
I can almost promise you that if you get into VR and those are the type of people who you know, want to idolize or whatever you want to call it, you will get a chance to talk to them. Because that's what's so cool about VR chat is you will 100% be in a situation where they'll just be hanging out with you and you'll be sitting there like, oh,
yeah,
cool. This is sick.
It's pretty neat. Well, anyway, guys,
For sure.
I hope you guys did enjoy this podcast. If you guys don't want to watch the rest of our conversation for this podcast, link will be in the description on the Patreon. Enjoy. You guys have a nice day. But like, how can I end it off kind of nicer? Because that sounded mean. Nah, I think we're good from there. But like, man, I feel like we pretty much kind of exercised a lot of stuff about you, dude.
Dude, I can talk forever, dude.
Dude, that's what's great. Is like
I'm a talker. I'm Italian.
it's just I'm Italian, bro. I'm Italian. I think
I can't do the thing in VR.
I think what's interesting about this whole concept of getting into the VR state of mind is, you know, what do you think people are really anxious about meeting other people? You know, what as you went through a struggle in your life of kind of experiencing that as a DJ, of getting into the DJ like venues and just kind of seeing like what they do, maybe some raves IRL, but like, was there ever a time where you're just like, I'm so scared to talk to someone, like I just feel like was there ever a time like that for you?
Yeah, well, growing up, yes, all the time. Never really. Well, I would say initially no, right? Because that's how it works, right? Like initially you're young and, you know, I don't want to use the word ignorant, but like you just don't know social dynamics. So then you're the new person or whatever. You try to insert yourself and then, you know, maybe you get picked on or like people realize you're an outsider and then they cast all this, you know, kind of like doubt on yourself about like, oh, maybe I don't belong here. Maybe I don't fit in because I don't have friends. And then from there, you start to develop as a human being with that notion, right? So I carried that as my identity throughout all the way to high school. And I had this sense of misfit, right?
Right. It makes
so yeah, that's kind of like a part of me nowadays. I think that has given me. Go ahead.
No, you go. Sorry, continue.
I was gonna say that has given me like, you know, it's like you talked about this earlier, right? Like, you go through struggle, it makes you better. So a lot of this is like, I think that set me up to be self-aware about this thing, which gave me something to work on and to develop. And I think that like that in and of itself, that issue turned into something that maybe is now like a strength.
It made it better for you. And do you think that VR chat or VR, like other VR games, or just VR itself, could possibly help you with those issues? Possibly.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I see it. I hear about it. I know for a fact that, you know, there are a couple. Well, actually, one of my best friends, his name VR is Subdefense. He's like,
I know him.
Yeah. He's full blown in VR, and like, it's crazy to see how like different, in a good way, you know, it allows people to express themselves or just be more themselves, right? Like, it's almost like if you know somebody, like, you know, your best friend, in this case, he's like one of my best friends in real life. You know how they are when it's just you and they're fully comfortable and open. And then you know how they are in public when they might be feeling uncomfortable or nervous. And it's really nice to be able to see that person be themselves in VR, because that barrier is gone and now it's more accepting, and the community is just great.
It's really a relief of just seeing how everyone is. And you know, in any kind of moment, any day, it's like interviewing someone. You never know what's gonna really happen until you interview them. and you think of two ways. It could be really chill, or it could be really, it could be really chill where I'm just relaxed and stuff, or it could be very interrogating. You know, it could be like under your throat with these questions and you don't know what you're talking about. You think you're gonna like be stupid and stuff or not.
Yeah. We even got to the lie detector test yet. That's coming up.
Yeah. God damn it. Fuck.
Yeah.
No, but like, you know, I'm very sociable. I'm very, very,
No.
yeah. It's insane. No, I'm very sociable IRL and in VR. Like, it's insane. I'm more sociable in VR because I just go up to anybody and I'm like, yo, what's up, fam? But I'm not like that 100% of the way. So
I would say actually, to be honest, like, that's hard for me. Like, it's hard for me because it's weird. I don't want to insert myself if I don't know, like it's like going back to probably like my childhood trauma or whatever, like it's very difficult. But what I will say is, in the real world, if you're that way,
the real world,
in the real world, you will experience a situation where most people won't come up to you and say, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? What's up? Whereas like you can just join up and hang out and listen to music, and almost pretty much a bleach is gonna come up to you and be like, yo, what's going on? Like, what's up? Like, and then all of a sudden you just made a friend, you know? Like it just happens all the time, and it makes everything feel so much easier and chill.
Feels like you're accepted into something that, like, even though it's one person, you're like in someone's emotional state of a friendship, and that's what,
like even just something as simple as like, I put this tattoo on my avatar. It says drink water. I can't tell you how many times people just come up to me and just go, yo, I drink some water because of your tattoo. You know, like something like that. Oh, right here. Yeah.
Drink. Hold on. Let me get my, I gotta make a, sorry guys. Hold on.
Get in there.
Get in there. Wait, can the camera see that? Actually say drink water instead of it flipped, I hope. Yeah. Guys, drink water. Drink water. That's all you need in life.
Yeah.
Definitely drink water. But you know, at this time right now, broski, you know, this has been an awesome fucking podcast with you. I hope that we can bring you on the second time. But you know, all I can say is like the journey is definitely well worth, ready for the future of bringing new opportunities, and especially for you guys that are watching at home on your phone, laying on the ground, probably like taking a poop. I hope you guys do enjoy this episode 5 of the Virtual Voices podcast. Your host Bleach Streaks and your guest Michael. I hope you guys enjoy. I hope to see you guys later, and also you guys have a great day. Hey, so
killed it.
You want to like go get some ice cream?
Yeah.
Hey, let's go.
What's your favorite flavor?
Pistachio.
Really?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I was thinking that in my head. I was like, he's gonna say pistachio.
Yo,